What's up, everybody? We're back. It is your daily crypto news. This is the sixth time Sarah and I are actually recording this because of technical difficulties. And so here we are. Welcome back from Dubai, Sarah.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to back to Daily Crypto News Weekly Roundup with us.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about my shirt again because you didn't like my shirt. But this is the sixth time we talked about my shirt, and it's flying fish, and you're not as surprised anymore. Let's
No,
get
I
into the
said it's
news.
boomerang. Yeah, let's get into the news.
All right, so we're gonna start with me today. Friday, Friday
Mhm.
was the Bitcoin halving, and basically the biggest thing about the Bitcoin halving was one, we're going to be taking the supply down from 6.25. Wait, was it
Yeah.
6.25 Bitcoin to
Yes.
3.125 Bitcoin?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so it's putting the daily supply from 900 Bitcoin to 450 Bitcoin, which we just learned today that the supply of, I'm sorry, the inflationary rate of Bitcoin is now down to like 0.085% a year, which
Wow.
is lower, substantially lower than gold's inflationary rate of 2.3,
Yep.
meaning that 2.3% of the gold supply keeps being added every year. Now Bitcoin's down to under 1%. So it's very limited in supply. And so
Mhm.
with all of this, everybody's speculating on prices, and they're like, okay, so what's going to happen with the Bitcoin price? JP Morgan put out a headline that says that Bitcoin price won't jump after halving, which it
Mhm.
goes along with what I've been saying for months, honestly. But let's put this in perspective that just because it doesn't jump after halving, and to be honest with you, we've been better than we ever have been before a halving. Before, in previous halvings, we've never
Mhm.
been at all-time high prices. We've never been even close to all-time high prices, but we've already made new all-time high prices and then dipped down to just below all-time high prices. Even though we're sitting at 64, all-time high previously was 69, so that's pretty damn close. So
Right.
within a year of having, we usually see price go up exponentially.
Yep.
And and I have this graphic right here from 2012. The day of having, Bitcoin's price was $12. A year after, it was over $1,000. In
Mhm.
2016, halving day, Bitcoin was $648. I remember that day very well, actually. I know exactly where I was when that happened. Because I was kicking myself because I wasn't buying Bitcoin. And then a year after, it was $2,500.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
And then in 2020, halving day, it was $8,500. And a year after, it was $56,000. And
Right.
so, what I really want everybody to understand about this is that Bitcoin, the halving, is basically throwing a monkey wrench into everybody's business model right now. The
Mhm.
miners, the people who use Bitcoin, the investors, everything is trying to figure out what does halving mean in a
Yeah.
market sense, and it basically things go sideways or go down while everybody figures that out. How do you recalibrate running a business when you're getting half of the revenue, right?
Mhm.
And so you'll see it start equal to become stabler until we're off to the races, or everybody just loses all motivation. And so you're going to go up big or down big. I think in about, I want to say it about a month from now,
Yeah.
3 weeks to a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah. I think the thing that people have to be careful about when it comes to price analysis or price prediction is that everybody kind of s- choose different date or different comparison, different period of time to predict the price. So and also in terms of investing, when you're trying to get in or get out, it's all depend on your preferences. Some people say that one day, 24 hours is short, and some people say that 1 week is short or 1 month, and so on and so on. So depending on when you get in and when you get out, what your target is, it will be different. But one thing that for sure is that Bitcoin throughout the Bitcoin history it has been going upright trend. So with or without having specifically, I think it will still go up, and I think that is kind of undeniable truth. But when we check that price might be kind of different in terms of Bitcoin price went down or not. Actually, I wanted to add one more article similar to this. I posted, I think, today in the Daily Crypto News Korea. The Standard Chartered Bank report said that they are expecting still the Bitcoin price to go up until like around 150,000 by the end of
This
this year.
year, they said, right? Not even 2025. They said this year.
This year. That was very bold. I don't know if I could completely agree, but I think 100K is definitely totally doable. So,
I think people really have to. Okay, so the way that I look at it, there's only a couple of things that are going to destroy Bitcoin. Like up is inevitable if
right,
everything stays the same, right? And I'm
right.
not talking about investment. It's just that if you have a limited supply, and this is honestly the only time in history that you've had a deflationary or a limited supply currency. Never in
Mhm.
history have you ever had this. If you're using seashells, well, you just go find no more seashells, right? I mean, the bank can also always mint more coin. You can always, if it was talking about gold, you can put less gold in your coin. You can dilute it in different ways. And so there's always been, and so going up in price is almost inevitable unless a couple of things happen, in my opinion. Number one, the Bitcoin algorithm, I'm sorry, the hashing algorithm somehow gets broken. SHA-256 gets broken.
Mm,
That
mhm.
would destroy everything. As of right now, with traditional computers, it can happen, and everybody thinks that it's a doomsday scenario when people talk about it, saying like, "Oh, come on, quantum computers are never going to be able to do that. We're so far
Right,
away."
right.
However, um, as we saw with AI, sometimes technology is able to make leaps and bounds beyond
Mm,
what is predicted, right? We saw AI come out and we're talking about Will Smith eating spaghetti, and now with something like Sora, we're making videos that use almost indistinguishable from somebody with a drone camera, you know?
mhm,
And
mhm.
and that was only in over a couple of years. And so we don't know what quantum computing can do when it comes to breaking encryption algorithms. So
Right.
that's one thing that would break Bitcoin. The other one is of course, a major black swan event globally, and that would be
Oh.
say, and I don't think that. And everybody says, "Oh, this Bitcoin solved this, or Bitcoin is a hedge against that." No, here's what's going to happen if that happens. First of all, if there's a nuclear bomb or a world war or a major depression, and I'm
Right.
not talking about recession, I'm not talking about the stock market go down. I'm talking which would affect Bitcoin, but I'm
Mhm.
talking about if a black swan event happens, we that's when you'll see Bitcoin. But everybody says, "Oh, well, Bitcoin solves this. That's gonna be the hedge against." Bitcoin only solves this because you'll be transacting in Bitcoin because every other currency is destroyed and countries are destroyed, and so you might have to transact in Bitcoin
Mhm.
using some kind of generator and people mining Bitcoin out of like some shack in the back of their yard using solar power or something like that to keep the global economy running. But those are the only two ways that I think Bitcoin would actually, drastically be reduced in price. And
Mhm. Mhm.
what do you
Mhm.
think?
Yeah. Black Swan event. Wow, I did not think about that. I mean, obviously, if we find a significant failure in blockchain technology itself, like if we lose this whole industry, then I guess Bitcoin could also go down. I mean, we're assuming that this like when we believe in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, we are indirectly also supporting this blockchain technology as a nascent technology that could fix a lot of different problems. And um, even though maybe speculators don't really see this, but there are a lot of hardware and software backup that is backing this trend to support the improvement of blockchain technology. But if that belief somehow dies in the market, academically or financially, then I guess people could lose hope in Bitcoin, I guess.
So, I don't think that a flaw in blockchain technology would destroy Bitcoin. And I don't think that there is one because you can't run an experiment for 15 years and not, and, and not find that vulnerability or that flaw, right?
No,
And
but we're
so,
But we're still trying to figure out the what is actually the use case of blockchain technology. What is the sustainable use case of blockchain technology? And I don't think we have actually found one. We're still experimenting. I think that's why we're calling it we're really early. And I remember from my MBA class back a couple of years ago, there was this professor was really against using blockchain technology into any use cases that we have tried.
Because he's a weenie.
No, because it's not necessary to use blockchain technology. It can be substituted by other software technology. It doesn't have to be blockchain. So, but we're trying to apply blockchain technology into fixing different problems. So if somehow academically or industry wise, people kind of lose hope on trying to utilize blockchain technology and then it doesn't go on. I mean, obviously it's not going to be just one company, but holistically people are starting to lose hope on using this technology, then I guess that will be it. Maybe there is another stable coin related stuff that somebody could invent in a monetary system without using cryptocurrency or without using blockchain technology. Then kaboom.
Nah,
Blockchain industry could just go, you know.
nah. I don't think so. No, I honestly don't think. I mean, I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you. I see you. I don't think that that's the case. So I don't want to. Anyway, long
Yeah.
story short, we're talking about the halving. We'll
Yep.
see what number goes up. Last thing I do want to say about number going up is,
Hmm.
um, please, if you are, and this is something I had to learn, and I still have to learn, and it's a discipline. Trading and investing is a discipline, and
Yep.
you have to be more disciplined with what you want to get out of it, your personal goals, and understanding how to control your emotions. I mean, there's nothing worse than
Oh.
knowing that you lost your money in something because you rode it to the ground. But it's worse. There is something worse than that, is selling something and not seeing it go to the moon. That's the one that really gets your goat, like in the future,
Oh my
because you
God.
you say, oh, I made $100,000 and that's amazing, but I could have had 3 million.
I
and
mean,
and
could have,
so
should have, would have. I think
it
everybody has
hurts.
that experience, right? Yeah, yeah. It's really
Everybody
hard.
does.
Hmm.
So when you're looking at this, and if we hit $100,000 Bitcoin and that's your number, you just set your stop loss,
Yeah.
just set it,
Mm-hmm. Totally
move it,
agree.
moving on to Monday.
Yes, let's move on. We also choose the same news on Monday. Definitely everybody's talking about Bitcoin runes, and they even listed in the centralized exchange. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's Gate, and everybody just lists hyped coins. So nothing serious, but will they last is my question. I still don't know. Maybe I need a little more research. What do you say, Matt?
Do you want to tell everybody what runes are, or do you want me to?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sure. I think people will know what runes is. No?
I mean, they're new. I mean, so
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. What is
no,
runes?
you go ahead.
It's a new token standard that is supposed to be used in the minting on the Bitcoin blockchain system, Bitcoin blockchain network. And there are already different kinds of launchpad, I think, including Luminex, that has been minting different tokens. And supposedly they're using different types of standard, including different terms like etching instead of minting and different ways to call token tickers, usually with all capitalized letters. Yeah. And we have been seeing this utilization of Bitcoin blockchain network through ordinals, but runes is a bit different. But that is all I know for now.
I guess it's moving the shitcoin casino to Bitcoin, correct?
Oh, so brutal.
I mean, it's true, and even the developer, the maker, Casey Radmore, he said the same thing. He said, "I'm highly skeptical," and I love this line because it's very self-aware about what he's doing. He
Yeah.
said, "I'm highly skeptical of serious tokens, but Rune." is without a doubt a serious token protocol. And I think that's just very rare and honestly, a cautionary statement about what's going to happen on the network. He knows he made
Uh-huh.
a shitcoin casino. He knows that everybody's going to make, what was the coin that they made? Dog go up to the moon coin or some
Yeah.
rune.
Wanko Manko runes.
Yeah, like Manko or Manko rune. And it's like we know what this is. We've seen
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And he says, and it's like, hey, invest in your own with your own risk. Understand what you're doing. This is a casino, and everybody's
Hmm.
making this just for a number to go up. And if you're in early and you're out early, you might get some money. But the protocol that he designed is made to last and made to do something special. And
Right. Right.
I do like that he's really self-aware with that.
Mhm. I mean, in a way, we're all crazy.
Oh, we're nuts.
Simply put, if you're into crypto, you are somewhat crazy. But I also don't want to lose hope. I mean, look at Shiba Inu. They have Shibarium, and now they're launching layer three. And like, who knew that Shiba Inu is going to be like that at the time when they launched? We were also talking there meme like shit coins and
They're launching a layer three.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean they have a
Why do we need a layer three? We have layer twos.
for cheaper and cheaper gas fee and faster transaction fee. I have no idea. Honestly, now transaction speed and fee is way shorter and cheaper than any sort of bank transaction. So I'm happy, but I guess we can do better. There is always room to grow.
I think that look, layer twos already had enough risk within them, and we're seeing that, because we're talking about chain protocols, we're talking
Yeah.
about, bridges because you have to settle transactions to the main chain, the layer one with the layer two. And so we saw a lot of vulnerabilities in that development. And so it's like, why do you need a layer three? I just see that it's going to be more vulnerable. And so you still have to settle to the layer one, I assume, unless you're using the layer two as a layer one.
Right, right.
Um, I don't understand how they work. It's just I don't understand. So it's probably my ignorance for me getting all old and going like, "Oh, we don't need this," this new technology. We still have, MySpace is the best, like that's
Oh
yeah. I don't
my.
know. We'll bring
I'm
back
not that
Vine.
generous.
I really don't know. But so maybe I'm just being all old and harumphy. But I don't know why we need layer threes.
No, I think layer three is still a very, very early concept. Nobody is really talking about it, but the point was that shitcoin might have hope. Like if they get enough trust and faith and enough developers to I don't know, dream come true, then maybe they become something else with all the money that they earned.
Okay, moving on to Tuesday.
Yes.
So on Tuesday, Venezuela was looking to USDT or Tether to bypass their sanctions. So as we know, there's sanctions
Hmm.
on Venezuela, their national oil company, their
Right.
ability to sell their own oil. They have had massive inflation. I mean, we're talking about like the United States crying over 3.9%. We're talking about they've had proper,
Yeah.
our money's worth shit now,
Right.
inflation. And
This
and
was
so
an
they're
interesting news. Hmm.
and so they're looking for to USDT to figure out how to bypass US sanctions. And I have opinions on that in a minute. Um, Long story short, and I don't think there's actually more news on that, to be honest with you. I don't know what else to say about that, but is they tried to do this off like the petrodollar before.
Hmm.
That was a fail. Then they looked to Bitcoin to try to bypass. That didn't work out, and I don't know why that didn't work out. I can't remember, or else I didn't really understand what was happening. But now
Mm.
they're looking at the stablecoin USDT to see if they can buy, sell, and trade their oil and anything else that they produce in Venezuela to get around the United States sanctions. And
Yep.
basically, the United States is blocking all transactions from their central bank and their banks and
Hmm.
settlements of their exports. So
Hmm. Hmm.
m my opinion on this is, look, we have. Let me get political for a minute. we have this, border crisis, or a lot of people coming to our southern border, and a lot of people are coming from Venezuela or these countries that have, horrible economies. And instead of us trying our best to lift up these economies and making these other countries a great place to live, and I don't blame individuals from getting out of shitty situations. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that is the right of a human being, in my opinion, no matter where you're from, is to try to make a better life for yourself. And if your country, in the economy of your country, and the dollars, your currency sucks, the jobs aren't there, crime is high, and the United States has sanctions on your country. And it's like, I'm getting out of here. I'm taking my family. I'm going somewhere else. I don't give a shit
Right.
where it is. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's kind of ironic that, United States have sanctions on Venezuela, and then the Venezuelans want to come over to America. But still, it's better than Venezuela, right?
I guess
We're
so.
going,
Yeah, yeah.
and they also stop in different places along the way, and they try to make, home there. But I think the United States should be much more looking at, how to make countries the best place to live for the people that are there. It's not
Mm.
our responsibility per se, but also we shouldn't be hindering it either
Mm-hmm.
by putting sanctions on countries, unless they are absolutely, terrorist
Yeah.
organizations,
Yeah, yeah.
and they are absolutely trying to go to war with the United States. Other than that, it's, the market. Like, let's
Right.
let's get to it. Anyway, unless I'm missing something with what Venezuela was doing to America, which I could possibly be, and I hope that they find a way to bypass the sanctions, and turn their economy around and make a good life for their people.
I think this news is very strange for me. Uh, I mean,
Why? What's up?
there's always insider, of course. So that's how this story got out. But now they can't bypass. Obviously, like they can't. Like now the story is out. Like somebody's working on this case, and most likely, U.S. is gonna try to work closely with Tether. I think I saw an interview quote from Tether, like representative, saying that we'll do everything to do illegal transactions or whatever, and obviously they'll cooperate to U.S. government, right? So I don't think it's gonna be at all possible for Venezuela to again bypass sanction.
I just thought of something right now, and I'm so stupid that I didn't put two and two together. Remember, today's news is
Yeah.
that there was the stablecoin bills introduced into Congress by Maxine Waters, and also we had who was it? Cynthia Lummis and Kirsten Gillibrand, and the Senate introduced stablecoin bills. I'm wondering
Hmm.
if this is just all coinciding, like, you know, hey, let's put out this maybe even fake news or this story to show that there's threats within the US dollar, or threats with stable coins, to bypass sanctions so we can pass some kind of sweeping legislation.
My God, you think
I just
so?
I don't know. I'm just saying that the news came out today about a stablecoin bill, and now it's like, is there some kind of
It's a good
relation?
timing. Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, my. Interesting. Yeah, yeah, that could be. Could be.
Obviously, I didn't read the bill. I mean, I
Uh,
just read the news today, and I probably should read the bill,
yeah, yeah.
or at least throw it into ChatGPT so it can give me a summary. Um,
Read the
but
bill
yeah,
and update us next week.
I probably will, because I think it's really
Mm-hmm.
it's just interesting that those two are coinciding, and then this seems like something that the United States can use as like a talking point. Like, hey, look what they're trying to do with these stable coins, and we need to be able to monitor, and you need to register, and we need to protect the consumer. It just seems pretty. Anyway, moving on to Wednesday.
Yes.
I was out of the office.
Yes. And
So
out
what
of
happened?
office. You okay, never mind. I chose the news
Oh
about
yeah, I
Lido.
put OFO. What the hell is that?
It should be oh.
I got you. I got you. I'm gonna change it right now in our notes. Hold on. Let me change that. Stupid. Okay.
OFO sounds also nice. Anyways, I chose the story about Lido losing a lot of funds. And then DL News tried to kind of analyze why that is happening. Obviously including this liquid restaking protocols are coming out, and Lido started a new initiative where they allow solo stakers, and they're also even trying to make this protocol a little bit more decentralized. I wanted to point out two different things where one, the risk of LRT, and the second, I don't think many people are talking about this, but Lido, I really give big round of applause to Lido trying to become decentralized. Because one of the proposals, I don't know actually how did the vote go, but one of the proposals that they're trying to make was that no matter the Lido goes down, like potentially the Lido can fail, right, as a project, the stakers will still be able to withdraw their ETH or whatever asset that they stake. And the Lido DAO, the Lido token holders will not have any say to that. And I thought that that is such a good initiative from the project point of view. Like it's literally you putting down a proposal that your fund is Safu, and I thought it's really cool.
Can you explain that to me one more time? What is it doing? I kind of missed it a little bit.
Yeah, the proposal said that the if even if Lido is going to fail as a project, like if that happens, the stakers will be able to withdraw their fund permissionlessly without like LDO tokens holders proposal or whatever. So Lido DAO would not have any say to the asset stakers. So you wouldn't lose money just because the project failed.
So how could you not lose money if the project failed? Like meaning that are they keeping like some kind of reserve in US dollars or a fiat or some kind of other stable coin?
I
Because
guess
if the
so.
project fails and you have Lido in there and you're staking Lido, that means number go down and you lost money. So
Yeah,
what if you have your worthless token back?
I don't know how technically it goes. Actually, I should have read the proposal more detail, but I could imagine it should be hard coded, like without like they will remove whatever private key related stuff, like the multi-sig related stuff to have like full power of the control of the asset or whatever. Maybe it was there to begin with. I have no idea. But that was on the proposal.
Unless they're backing their stake with a stable coin, then it
Mm.
doesn't matter if you withdraw or not. I mean, hey, Lido fails. Okay, we just went to zero. Here, you could have your Lido back. Oh, sweet.
No,
But
I
then
mean
again,
you'll
it's
get the ETH back, you know?
oh, you're getting ETH back.
Yeah. I mean, not Lido,
Oh,
the LDO, your staked asset. So that's cool. No?
wait. I am totally confused then, right?
Let me
I think I'm
quickly
totally
actually
confused.
see the proposal. Am I getting it wrong?
So they're not using the LDO token. They're using ETH,
I mean, it's a liquid staking protocol. So you're supposed to stake ETH.
but they also have their token though.
Yeah. They have the token too.
Okay,
I don't
so
know if the
I guess I'm confused. Like, what they're gonna get back permissionlessly? Is it the Lido or is it the ETH? You said this ETH. Okay, that makes more sense.
yeah,
But I'm just wondering. It's like
the
they say,
staked asset.
okay,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, it's just you the asset that you staked.
got it.
All right.
Great.
But more important thing is that, by the way, disclaimer, I got one person to talk about this later on in a special 101. But I wanted to really alarm
Subscribe to
people.
the Substack so you can hear that.
Exclusive interview. I really want to alarm people as much as possible that LRT is very, very risky. This article essentially telling you that okay, Lido is losing their grip because there is liquid restaking protocol coming in and people are all going there. Um, but I really don't think that people should go more into liquid restaking because it's just derivatives. I cannot emphasize enough that people should be very careful. Of course, like it's your risk appetite, But yep, that was it. Yes.
Fair enough. All right. That was Wednesday.
Yep.
Moving to today, and today is Thursday. It's April 25th. And my news today was, oh, we have different news. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
didn't
my
really get that part. The capital gains, I tried to understand how it works in America, but what is it about?
so how does it work in Korea, South Korea? Like how like so if you put let's say you put $100,000 into Bitcoin
Mm,
and that number goes up to $200,000, what do you get
yeah,
taxed
yeah.
on?
I mean, we don't have a law. We don't have anything.
Of
So we
course you
don't
have a
pay.
law.
I mean,
Of
we don't
course you have a
pay
law.
any tax for the Bitcoin
Of
profit
course you
yet.
do.
No, we don't. We don't. That's the
Bullshit.
issue. It's not passed yet, but people
It's
are
not
trying
passed. Are
to.
you trying? What? South
I
Korea.
that's what I've been talking about. Okay.
I have to look this up now. Crypto taxes. I can't believe that you have no the country's tax regimen is set to take. Oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, you should be right, but January 1st, 2025 is when the taxes are going to start being implemented in South Korea. And then you'll have crypto asset gains will be subject to a 22% levy.
Hmm.
I don't understand what that means if it's capital gains or what does that mean, but I think it is gains. Anyway,
Yeah,
anyway, I
I
didn't know
think
you guys
it's
didn't have
around
any
like
crypto taxes.
20% or something like that. At least that is what we're trying to put.
I didn't know didn't have crypto taxes.
Oh my
What?
God. Sarah, I don't think it's actually I don't think it's actually imposed yet.
Well, you should take all your money and put and buy Bitcoin right now. So if it goes up by the end of the year, you take it out and
That's
just have free and
what
clear money.
that's what I'm doing.
Oh, well, hey, don't say that on podcasts. What are you talking about? You remember you're the person that said $4 million isn't a lot of money, so
Yeah,
we
but
don't know what.
it's around 20%. It is definitely around 20%, but it's we're trying to impose it, but we have been kind of indefinitely pushing the actual date of the effective date. So
Got
people
it.
are just speculating that it will be there, it will be there, but obviously our political system is messed up, and the ruling party did not really do their job. So it's not there yet, but it is supposed to be like 20%, I think, of your gain.
And that's of all gains, no matter if you make $1 or if you make $1 million or $10 million.
Oh, that's a good question.
And so that's what the proposal is that
Hmm.
the Biden administration put out was that
Right.
if you make over a certain amount of money in capital gains, that it'll
Uh-huh.
be taxed at a 44.6% tax. I
Right.
also saw 39.6%, and I don't know why I see both of them. I think one was mixing up income and capital gains, but
Uh-huh.
he was saying that it was going to be 44.6%, and that's the proposal. Right now, it's at 20%
Hmm.
for the highest level. And so that's my biggest news today is that the Biden administration is basically signaling what it feels is the correct path forward for American taxation policy and sending that down to Congress and sending that to the media saying that this is what we want. So
Hmm.
Congress try to figure it out. And so for right now, the capital gains tax within the United States is three-tiered. It's 0%,
Yeah.
15%, or 20%. And 20% is the highest you can get for capital
Hmm.
gains. No matter if you make $600,000 in gains or if you make 20 million, it's all
Right.
20%. And
Right.
so he says, but after, 500,000 now, we want to tax it at 44.6%, which is astonishingly high. It's super high. And honestly, it makes me mad because I know a lot of people, and this is one thing about being in this space for, 8 years or so, is I know
Mm.
plenty of people that put all of their savings into, say, Bitcoin back in 2016 or 17, right? Or Ethereum or whatever. And all of their savings at that time was just call it $20,000 or $30,000, right?
Right.
And Bitcoin from then to now is 50x, right? And so 20,000 and 50x, we're talking about they put themselves into a situation where they are not rich. I mean, yes, $1 million is a lot of money for a lot of people, but it is not you're balling it. You're not driving the Bugatti and you have a yacht. You were talking about that might be enough money to, depending where you live, to pay off your
Right.
house, pay off some
Right.
student loans, or if put it into retirement and have a very, very modest retirement. And so this kind of taxation kind of defeats the fact, and I know it's trying to say like, oh, these rich people are too rich, but
Mm-hmm.
what it's actually doing is playing demonizing people that have a modest amount of money and saved a little bit of money to have a more comfortable later years, right?
Mm.
Or got lucky and put their livelihoods, their family at risk to try to have that more comfortable later years, right?
Mm.
And so if something like this passed and say you are modest means, modest job, family, and you do have you do have $1 million in capital gains,
Right.
and that takes it down to 500,000, you just screwed the average person out of a retirement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's really myopic, and it's honestly it's insulting. It's insulting to the risk of the average person that they take when they invest in something. And
Mm.
it doesn't matter if you like the investment or not. And I think that's a lot of things people always talk about is they try to judge the risk and associate the risk with what they're risking in. And that's not the point. It doesn't matter if you're investing in a solar panel company or a small business or
Right.
Microsoft or Apple or Bitcoin. That shouldn't make a difference. The fact is I took the risk, and if I had the gains from this, which I sacrificed whatever I did in the past so I could have these gains, which I could have went to zero,
Mm.
I should be able to reap those rewards. And honestly, I think 20% is too high. I think if you're having these kind of gains, and look, there could be a tier. Fine, let's go into 20% if you're making $5 million or so, it's $10 million. But if
Right.
you're in the million or 2 million or $3 million range, like, come on, because who you're screwing is you're screwing the middle class people or people who are just trying to get a come up. I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way.
Mm.
That
Um,
in that in unrealized gains is also a proposal be taxed,
ah,
and
right, right.
that is honestly criminally absurd, in
Hmm.
my opinion.
Hmm. I
What
can
do you
see that
think?
you have a very strong opinion about this. Maybe I'm used to listening to my husband from North Europe, Northern Europe. I am okay
Oh, the
with the
socialist. Oh, geez.
I'm okay with the high tax, but the only reasoning behind this high tax, like for example, his family paying like 45 to almost 50% of tax. The only reasoning behind that could convince people to say, okay, it's okay, is the good welfare system. If you don't have that, nobody will understand the high tax just because we're in a social contract in a same country. Nobody's gonna understand that. But they have these Northern European countries have free education for everyone, even sometimes foreigners, free medical uh, welfare system as well, free for everything. Even inside European Union, you will most likely get free medical services all throughout, with or without your parents your parents existing. Like even if you're orphaned, you will be able to enjoy all these welfare system. Not to mention the fact that you'll get different kinds of subsidies where if you don't have a house, they'll give you money to find a house or a cheaper house. If you are somewhat having a hard time in your life, like medically, then they will pay you to be in the market so that you can work still, limited time, but so that the society can go like back and forth in terms of give and take. You pay the tax, high tax, but you know that you will get back, or you know that your kids will get back with all the benefits that you could ever hope for in your life. So it makes sense to have those high taxes. But in America, I don't know if that's possible. And may I assume that that is what you're also partially mad about with high tax?
I think that, yeah, if look, America's big and it's a rich country. And
Yeah.
again, I think that there's just me personally, I think there's irresponsible spending on multiple levels. And it's not about like how much we pay in taxes. It's about one, you're right, what it's going for. Are we getting that, higher education? Are we,
Mm,
investing in communities? Are we investing in, things to make, people's lives better?
right.
Um, and then how much does that cost? And are we actually being responsible with how we're spending the money?
Mm,
And so if America is making $5 trillion a year in revenue, tax revenue and otherwise, and we need more than that to, it's like I think that there's a lot of times where we're just like, is the spending, are we buying the thing at a high price or too low of a price? For example, it's like we were just able to negotiate drug prices from our Medicare Medicaid plans only recently, and that's to negotiate prices. And so, what other prices are we not negotiating, or what other prices are exclusive contracts where we're just like, paying whatever the contractor wants for certain things? And I, so yeah, that's the one. But the other thing is, it's not about just high price; it's about risk as well, right? And so. If you're right, if I wanted to make big risks and we're talking about capital gains, if I want to make big risks in America, and I take that risk and then I fall, there's no like safety net really to catch us. It's like, oh, you screwed up, you're broke, ha, screw you. You pick yourself up by your bootstraps. I think that there's a different system where I take that risk and then I could go, okay, I won't be homeless, I won't be starving, I won't be, whatever. Then then taking risk would be much more, palatable. And if, you tax me on that risk that I took, I understand because if I wouldn't fall off a bridge if I took that risk. And so yeah, in the United States, I think that, taking risk, if you're taking big risk, you should have big reward. And because at the end of the day, if you lose all your money, nobody's going to bail you out. You will have, there are different ways. In all fairness, America does have programs, but you're gonna have to. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be real hard, and so there's no like real big write off for it either. So anyway, if you're risking your own money to support companies and the economy, you should be able to keep most of that payoff. You're muted. You're muted.
It's interesting that
Boomer Zoom problem there.
it's interesting that you said that if you're risking, then you should be also rewarded by that. I don't know if I can completely agree to that. That's some statement. Hmm.
Why? Why would you not agree to that?
I don't
Because
know
look,
because risking is not everything about but life is about. I mean, especially for the government. I don't think government should possibly reward people for risking.
no,
At
no,
least,
no, no, no. Okay, let me take that back. Let me explain what I mean then. It, just because you risk doesn't mean you get a reward, but because the fact is if you risk and you do get a reward, then you should be able to keep that reward for yourself. So if I put up $100,000 to invest in X, Y, or Z company,
right.
and it goes to $1 million, to the, I should be able to keep that $1 million because I put $100,000 of my money into that company, not keep 500,000 of it because the government takes 50% of it when
Mm-hmm.
they didn't take the risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my risk. And so if I lost all my money, my $100,000,
Yeah.
then nobody's going to give me that $100,000 back, or the government will come back in and give me 50 and say, "Hey, we'll give you half back. What do you think about that?"
Mm.
So that's what I'm talking about. It's like I'm okay with the risk, and I think most people are, and they're okay of uh, in losing, understanding that they will lose the money, and I don't think that there should be. I mean, you don't need to protect people from losing money if they understand the risk, but also
What?
understand. What do you mean?
You don't want the government to help you when you risk and then you lost?
No, you're misunderstanding again. Like, I don't think that there should be protections in place to prevent people from taking the risk.
Hmm.
So like should somebody have the ability to invest in Bitcoin? Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely they should.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
should the government come in and say, oh, only accredited investors, people who
mm-hmm.
are savvy at investing should be able to invest
Right.
in Bitcoin? No, I think everybody should be able to
Be able
invest in
to.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And if you put $20,000 into Bitcoin and it goes down to $5,000 and you say you lost all your money and you sold your coins,
Right.
that's the risk that you have, right?
But do you think that 44.6% or like 39% that you saw somewhere else is too high? But where does that math come from?
What do you mean?
But you okay with getting like paying the capital gain tax, or you're just not at all pro to paying the capital gain tax because you people risk, and then if they got money, then they deserve to have the profit all by themselves.
I mean, I personally think that that is mostly logical and acceptable because you are having that risk. But also, I do agree with the tiered system, but I don't want the tiered system to affect the average person. Look, if you make, there's a difference between having. Oh, where'd you go, Sarah?
Oh my goodness, my battery died.
Your bet.
God.
We're never going to do this podcast today.
Okay, give me 1 second. I have a full battery.
Okay, so I will continue while you're changing your battery. There's a difference between there is a big difference between you know, somebody with $20 million and somebody with $1 million or $20,000 or well, actually that'll be a different bracket or $2 million. And if your net worth is going to be based off of something like $2 million of capital gains taxes from an investment in a company or Bitcoin or whatever, then it is apparent that that's your safety net, that's your retirement, that's your nest egg. And I don't think that the government coming in to say, I'll take half of that from somebody who has a net worth of $2 million is acceptable. Um, Honestly, taking half of $50 million, I mean, you
What? Are
still
you
got 20.
talking?
Yeah, why wouldn't I be?
You don't have me.
You're not even there?
See. Good God.
Okay, we got to
Oh
start
my
this
God.
over. You have to start this over. The whole thing is screwed up, and I'm not editing this.
Serious? Like from the beginning? No, no, no. You can do this. Okay. Go ahead.
I don't want to edit this. I don't want to edit.
I'll
I
do
don't
that
want
then.
to.
I'll edit it.
I don't want to.
I will. Come on. I will. I got you.
Hey, so what was your question again?
So, my question is that what is the number that you'll be comfortable with in terms of capital gains tax then? So that it does
I,
not affect the middle class, someone like you, someone like me, and they could enjoy the reward of their risk.
I think it just has to be reasonable. 50% is not reasonable. And I
Yeah,
and this
so
is
what is the number, man? Give me
I
the
don't
number.
know. 15%, 20%.
Okay, so top it will be the 15, 20, be
I
15,
mean,
20.
and then I think I also still think 20% is too high for, 400,000 or $500,000 of gains.
Okay, so
That's
then how much? You gotta have a number to
I don't have to do
criticize.
anything but say that 50% is too much and that we have to find. Here's the thing. All right, let's peel the onion back. Let's go back
Yes.
to first principles of what we want to try to do with capital gains tax.
Right.
We want to make sure that we encourage people to invest in companies, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's in the stock market. We want money in the stock market. We want money into companies. We want money into Bitcoin. We want money into, going around. We want people to buy houses, right?
Uh-huh.
And we want people to have retirement because all these different things for the average person, the vast majority of people, this is where people get their wealth is from their house, right?
Yep.
That's going to be a capital gains expenditure. Which I wonder how real estate would factor into this. I haven't heard about anything about that. We want people to invest in the economy and so on and so forth. So, what encourages investment? what encourages people to take that risk, and then what
Mm-hmm.
encourages people not to try to game the system, right?
Yeah.
And so we have these different things. Also, let's just put that over here with the average people. Then we have the ultra wealthy, and there are ultra wealthy people that try to find ways to reduce their tax liabilities and do different things with their money that
Uh-huh.
are kind of shady and opaque and whatever. That is a thing, right? But at the same time, they do take risk by investing into companies, investing into people, investing into real estate, investing in development, and so on
Uh-huh.
and so forth. And so I think that this has to be a very even approach of first looking at who is investing in what. And if you're the average person that made $1 million off of some investment, you're not that person to get 50% tax. I think that is absolutely unacceptable. Even if if you make $2 or $3 million, you're not that person to get 50% tax. That's
Mm.
ridiculous. Considering that the average person today, the average person in America says that you need $1.5 million to retire comfortably, right? And so, are we incentivizing people to work toward a comfortable retirement or not? That's number one. Because remember, we don't have pensions in the United States. We have a shitty Social Security system that doesn't pay that much money. So you're not getting like this grandiose thing when you retire at
You're right.
65 and you're like, hey, I'm living the great life. And God forbid you have to go into a nursing home or something, then they
Mm-hmm.
take everything you have and then you live off the
Obviously.
government and
Yes.
then they make you sell and divest everything, which is
Right.
completely bonkers in my opinion. Let's put it at like the average people making, modest gains, and investing and trying to better their life. The wealthy people that are investing to try to better the economy, create businesses and create, a positive GDP or positive neighborhoods and so on and so forth. And then let's put it into a category of people who are just trying to get a smaller tax consequence at the end of the
Right.
year or trying to game the system. And all of that has to align with doing the thing. Fair taxation for people, encourage people to take risk, grow the economy, and make sure that the middle class is having a way to find ways to lead a comfortable middle class life and fund a retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we
Mm-hmm.
take that all into consideration, 50% tax does not do two of those things that I just said, right? It might do some things for the people who are trying to game the system, fine. But for the mom and pop that made $1 million overnight and they're actually so stoked because now they can pay off their house and the government says we're going to take half, is complete bullshit. That does not incentivize the average consumer to invest into retail or retail invest. What it does do is tell people that, hey, you know what? You're going to stay poor, keep going to work, and just do your 9 to 5, little buddy. It's
I
it's
mean,
it's 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 insulting, honestly.
I
It's
get that.
discouraging.
I get that. I get that. It's your country, so it's not my business. But
No, it is absolutely your business. That's why we're talking. You could.
it's
This
not my
isn't China.
business.
We don't get upset because you talk shit about China.
But I mean, first of all, high tax for certain people that doesn't deserve is inevitable. You can't possibly dissect every single person in your country to decide who is the
Yes, you can.
ultra rich and I mean,
Yes, you can.
no, I mean it's not worth it. So that's why there is a tier system where okay, you gain certain amount of money, then you just get this tax. But what you can do is to figure out other welfare system to work. You can give
Two different things.
yeah, two different things. I think you're trying to fix the welfare issue into this capital gains tax. I don't think there
No,
is
I'm
any
not.
reason that there is anything bad about imposing more tax or higher tax close to 50 to those who made a certain amount. I mean, it depends on, of course, like how much it is, but I believe that this 44 is also a tier system.
Today I learned that my co-host is a socialist.
Yeah. Why
No,
not?
I look
Why not? It's
again.
not a shame.
I didn't mean that in a negative.
I would rather be in a socialistic country than America. I mean, also, but I guess it also depends on how you want to run a country. Like obviously, Northern European country is small, and America is huge, and it's also governed by different states, has a different law. It's also hard to have unified way of, I don't know, like make everybody happy. That's for sure. That's in the background for sure. But and also at the same time, I think that the basic philosophy of Northern European countries have is that you would rather have a majority of the people, or if not all, to have a basic right of your living than having like trying to regulate those ultra rich, like focusing on the bottom, the people in the bottom rather than the people on the high. I believe that they also have a pretty high tax for rich
See,
people, but you know what I mean?
I do understand. I mean, look, I understand what you're saying, but you're actually talking about two or three different things at once, and you're telling the way that you're equating the conversation is that high taxation brings you good social welfare, and that is not the case.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So why not
That
fix the better
Yes,
social
but what we're talking about here
welfare
is
system?
but what we're talking about here is higher taxation before we have good social welfare. And
Mm,
so
yeah,
and if you don't have and if you have taxation right now
right.
at 40% in some states and even higher, in California you can get, roughly 50% taken off your taxes, just
Mm,
depending on how much. And I mean, California is its own animal and they have their own thing going on. So
right,
maybe or New York, whatever, but and you do not have the system already. We're not saying the conversation isn't saying like, hey, we have this amazing system. Um, please give us more money so we can maintain this amazing system.
mm,
We do not have the system, and they're saying, give us more money,
yeah,
right? And so, and this doesn't say like, hey, give us more money to create this amazing system that you're talking about. It's
mm,
saying, give us more money and let's hope we can figure this out to what to do with the
right.
money. Or let's more so the talking point is let's get the rich people to pay their fair share while
Mm-hmm,
painting somebody with $500,000 as the rich person. That is
mm-hmm,
not the rich person that's the enemy. That's not the devil, right? That's not the $1 trillion company that's escaping taxes. That's not the multi-billionaires that's paying for
right.
politicians to pass regulatory capture within Congress. That is not the conversation. So, to your point, if you were to say, hey, we have this amazing system and inflation happened and we have to raise taxes because we love our lifestyle and we have this great safety net and everything works efficiently and beautifully and we have the best healthcare, we have the best universities and we have all this good stuff and daycare and childcare and yada yada and great public transportation and we need to raise taxes because we need to fund this. I think that would be different than
Right,
going, hey, let's just raise taxes. And so
right,
what I'm
right.
saying is I'm taking the risk because if I don't make that money, then I don't have the fallback. I don't have the free education or the institutions
Yes,
or the healthcare or the universities or the subsidies or the first house that I could get that you talked about. Don't have that, right?
right, right. I'm with you. I'm with you.
And so yes, I agree with you, but for taxation's sake it does not make sense.
That's true. I mean, it has to go simultaneously, right? Fixing the social net welfare system and giving the network to fall back if you fail as an
I I did-
individual.
I don't want to disagree with you again, but I'm going to disagree with you again. It doesn't go simultaneously.
It should go simultaneously, is
It
what
should
I'm saying.
not.
Why
No, it should
not?
not.
Why
Because
not?
it's like anything. You have to prove you're able to do the thing before you ask for more. And we
Hmm.
haven't been able to prove the thing yet. So you can't
Hmm.
say, "Hey, let's give me more money while I simultaneously do the thing that I've never been able to do."
Ha.
We should have been doing the thing first before
Wow.
you ask for more.
Do you think you have America has enough money to already do the things that they are supposed to do?
100%. 100%.
Yep, yep, yep. I get that. I get that.
1,000%. We have enough
Hmm.
money to do the thing.
Always,
We
like
have enough money to
always
do
has
the
a
thing.
chance to reallocate the money that you already have. Like, and doesn't need to impose more taxes right now.
I
No,
know.
no. I mean, it totally makes sense. I think this is typical thing that people also criticize in a lot of country. Like if you have never been there, like who are you to say that you should make certain bills for certain people? You have never been there. You have never been to what it's like to live a life like that. If you, I mean, for example, my Korean president, for example. But anyhow,
What do you mean? What's up with your Korean president?
I think
Who is your
he
Korean
just,
president?
I think he just had a really good life.
Is it a president or prime minister?
President,
I don't know these things.
president, we're a
I'm
republic.
sorry. Americans
Anyways,
don't pay attention to anybody else besides us.
I know you guys are horrible. You guys only think about yourself. But I think that's a wrap. But I would like to hear almost half of our listeners who are not from United States, like for example, Australia, United Kingdom, Canada, interesting, Netherlands, Germany, all these people that is on our top listeners list. I would love to hear
Really?
your thought. Yes. They're more than actually 50%. So I would love to hear your thoughts on your political situation and how much you pay
Wow.
your capital gains tax there
So
with
basically,
Bitcoin.
you're saying Matt's a jackass. Make sure, from other countries, please make sure you come on and tell Matt he's a jackass.
Come to Sarah's socialistic DCN.
Wow. Wow.
Oh man, this was a good weekly roundup. Um, yes,
They,
I
they
think
heard me
that's a
they
good
heard me
ending.
rant and yell again. I'm just the old man that shakes fist at cloud anymore, you know?
If I were an American, I would support you. I would vote for you. Deemer for
Oh
Congress.
my goodness. I gotta get one of those little headbands you wear instead of my hat.
You should. You
I'm
should.
next week I'm gonna get one of those.
All right. I think this was a very good weekly roundup. We are looking forward to receive some aggressive and active email to Matt at cryptonews.net.
All right. Bye.
All right. See you next week. Bye bye.